Have you ever felt that familiar clutch of anxiety when life just throws you a curveball?
Oh, absolutely.
Or that, overwhelming feeling when you're bombarded by things totally out of your control, maybe tormented by past mistakes or just lost in worries about the future?
It's a universal experience, isn't it? We've all been there.
Right. And we're often told the secret to greater peace is to care more. Double down, try harder.
Exact. But what if the radical path to tranquility is actually to care? Well, less.
It sounds almost irresponsible, doesn't it? A bit shocking, maybe.
It does initially, but that's the profound wisdom we're about to unearth today, straight from one of history's most fascinating figures, Marcus Aurelius.
The philosopher emperor.
Exactly. He wasn't just a Roman emperor burdened by, unimaginable political and military pressures during a truly chaotic era. He was also a philosopher who discovered a powerful route to inner peace amidst all that turmoil.
So, our deep dive today is going to unpack the core of his approach to caring less.
Right. And it's crucial to understand this isn't about becoming cynical or cold or emotionally numb. Quite the opposite, actually.
Okay, so what is it about?
It's about a radical redirection of your most precious, your emotional energy. We'll explore the ancient wisdom in his own writings, and we've also looked at a compelling YouTube analysis on.
And the goal is to show how his Stoic philosophy offers a kind of shortcut to mastering your inner world, even now, in our hyper-connected age.
Precisely. Get ready for some insights that might really make you reevaluate how you approach your daily struggle. Some real aha moments, hopefully.
Okay, so this idea of caring less, it definitely seems counterintuitive at first glance. To really get it, we need to start with the bedrock, right? Stoicism itself.
Yes. And this wasn't some abstract academic debate club. The Stoics developed a practical guide for living a good life.
Our sources call it a comprehensive framework for achieving happiness, virtue, and tranquility in an often chaotic and unpredictable world. It sounds very hands-on.
It was designed to be applied day in, day out, not just pondered in a library.
So what's the core idea, the absolute foundation?
What's fascinating here is the central tenet. It was really clearly articulated by Epictetus, the former slave who became this celebrated philosopher.
Right, in his Enchiridion. Like a little handbook.
Exactly. A manual designed to be carried and consulted. And it boils down to one fundamental: figuring out what lies within our control and what remains beyond it.
Okay, break that down. What's controllable?
When you look at it, it's actually quite focused. Truly controllable are things like our judgments, our choices, our actions, and importantly, our responses to external circumstances.
And uncontrollable?
Well, pretty much everything else. Other people's behavior, natural disasters, economic ups and downs, political events, even, our own health and how long we live. All that stuff falls outside our sphere of direct.
That distinction, control versus uncontrol, sounds incredibly liberating on one hand.
It is.
But also intensely difficult to actually put into practice day to day. What did the Stoics see as our biggest trap here, our main source of suffering?
They argued that most human suffering actually stems from our failure to accept this reality, plain and simple.
How so?
We exhaust ourselves trying to control the uncontrollable. We get angry when others don't behave as we wish, or we despair when things just don't go our way.
Like trying to wish away bad traffic.
Exactly. In essence, as one of our sources puts it, we allow external forces to pull our strings like puppeteer, leaving us feeling reactive and, helpless. We know it's futile to command the weather for our picnic, but internally, we still get frustrated when it rains.
And the Stoics saw that frustration as just needless suffering.
Yes, a self-inflicted wound, in a way.
And Marcus Aurelius, even with all his power as emperor, he got this. He understood these limits.
Profoundly. He could issue laws, command armies, sure. But, as the source points out, he could not control how individual citizens would respond to his policy or how future historians would judge his reign. He couldn't control outcomes.
So facing those limits led him to a key insight.
Right. When we invest emotional energy in outcomes we cannot control, we inevitably set ourselves up for disappointment and pain. He learned that cursing the storm clouds wouldn't change their path. It would only sour his own inner state.
Okay, so if we bring this back to our own life, facing, say, a tough work challenge or a difficult personal situation, how does this redirect our caring? You said it's not about detachment or becoming numb.
No, absolutely not. It's not about not caring. They sought to focus our emotional energy inward, towards our own character development, our responses to challenges, how we treat others, our common good.
So it's a shift from fixating on external results to nurturing our internal processes.
Precisely. That shift is the heart of Stoic wisdom, and the foundation of genuine. Marcus Aurelius himself cared deeply about doing his duty,
while caring less about whether his efforts would be appreciated, successful, or remembered. Okay, I see the distinction, that balance, action, and acceptance.
That's the key. And it's a source of incredible inner.
It's one thing to grasp these foundational ideas, but how did Marcus Aurelius apply them to our everyday struggle? I know he thought a lot about, well, time itself.
Did.
And for many of us, the future is often where our biggest anxieties seem to take root.
Absolutely. It's probably the mental habit that causes the most anxiety for people getting consumed with future events. We torment ourselves anticipating things, running elaborate mental scenarios.
What might happen tomorrow, next month, next year?
Yeah. And the Roman philosopher Seneca, who really influenced Marcus Aurelius, he observed this perfect, said, "We suffer more in our imagination than..."
That it's home.
It highlights a fundamental truth, right? Our minds can generate real distress about events that haven't happened, might never happen, and are often pretty unlikely, actually.
It probably helped our ancestors scan the horizon for danger.
Sure. That anticipation served a purpose then. But in our modern world, it's often become, as the analysis notes, a source of chronic stress and diminished life satisfaction.
It's amazing how powerful those mental phantoms, as you call them, can be. They can flood our systems with stress hormones, ruin our sleep.
All about something that doesn't even exist.
The emperor recognized that the future, by definition, just does not exist. It's purely a mental construct we're grappling with.
Yeah, like shadow box. And as a military leader, Marcus Aurelius knew uncertainty inside out. Plans get disrupted by weather, supply lines get cut, allies switch sides.
He couldn't let that paralyze him with anxiety, though.
No. Instead, he focused on cultivating internal resources, things like wisdom, courage, justice, self-discipline, the tools to handle whatever might arise.
And his advice from the meditation captures this perfectly.
It's so potent. Never let the future disturb. You will meet it if you have to with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Focus on your preparedness now.
So for someone wrestling with, say, job insecurity today, where every news headline feels like a threat, how would his advice translate? Focus on internal resources.
Right. Well, instead of getting lost in endless, anxious rumination about potential layoffs or worst-case scenario, he'd likely advise focusing on what's actually like doing excellent work in your current role, maintaining positive relationships with colleagues, continuously developing your skill, managing your finances building your network.
Okay. Things that build real security rather than just worrying about what might happen.
Exactly, because ultimately that excessive future focus robs us of present moment experience. It causes a profound form of self-empowerment. We miss what's happening right now because our minds are always jumping.
Okay, so future anxiety is one trap. But then if the future creates anxiety, the past, well, that presents its own set of challenges, doesn't it? Often trapping us in regret or resentment.
We replay events, wishing they'd gone differently, holding on to grudge.
What's the Stoic take on?
The fundamental problem with past-focused thinking, from their perspective, is its complete futility regarding change, or it's done, finished.
No amount of mental energy can change what's already.
None. And what's more, our memories aren't perfect recordings. They're not like a video. They're reconstructed.
Meaning they get influenced by how we feel now, our bias.
Exactly. So often we're not even suffering from the actual past event, but from distorted versions of those events created by our own minds. We torture ourselves with flawed reconstruction.
Marcus Aurelius himself must have faced huge disappointments and losses governing an empire. How did he approach?
He developed a remarkably healthy approach. He believed events themselves are essentially neutral.
Neutral, even bad events.
Their impact, he argued, depends entirely on our interpretation and response to them. That's a radical reframing, isn't it?
It really is. That perspective seems profoundly empowering.
It allowed him to say things like, "It's fortunate that this has happened, and I've remained unharmed by it, not shattered by the present or frightened of the future." He reframed adversity as a test, an opportunity.
So it means we can learn from the past without dwelling on it obsessively.
Yes, regret and guilt, while natural human emotions, become counterproductive when they just paralyze us and prevent constructive action now.
And resentment towards others for past wrong.
That, he believed, ultimately harms us more than those who originally wronged us. It's like drinking poison yourself and hoping the other person gets sick. It just doesn't work.
So how do we break free from that psychological prison that regret and resentment create? Using his wisdom, what's the practical step?
Your task is to extract the lesson. What can you learn from that mistake or that hurt? Apply those lessons to the present, to your current choice, and then release the attachment, changing the unpast.
Learn, plot, release.
You got it. You gain the wisdom without staying trained to the event itself.
Okay, future, past. And then there's the present moment paradox. It's all we truly possess, our only real arena for action.
Right, our greatest opportunity for agency.
Yet it's also a common source of suffering because we so often resist it.
Exactly. We become angry when traffic is heavy, frustrated when technology fails, disappointed when others don't meet our expectations. It's like we're constantly trying to edit reality in real time, isn't it?
Yeah, arguing with what is.
And this resistance to present moment experience often causes more suffering than the circumstances themselves. Marcus Aurelius, through all his experience, learned what the source calls engaged acceptance.
Engaged acceptance. What does that mean?
Acknowledging realities like the slow messenger or the stubborn senator in his case, without that emotional resistance, without the friction, and then exploring how to respond skillfully.
So this isn't passive resignation, just giving up.
No, not at all. It's absolutely active engagement. It allows for mindful observation, acknowledging intense emotions like grief or anger, but creating a bit of space between feeling it and acting on it.
Space for a thoughtful response rather than a knee-jerk reaction.
Precise. And when we stop fighting reality, we suddenly have more energy available to work with it.
Does this apply to positive experiences too?
Yes, definitely. We should enjoy good fortune while remaining prepared for its event. Don't cling too tight.
Marcus Aurelius said something about that.
He did. In his meditations, he advises, treat what you don't have as not. Look at what you have, but be careful. Don't feel such satisfaction that you start to overvalue that it would upset you to.
Wow, it's a delicate balance, gratitude without attachment, recognizing things.
It is. It's about appreciating the good without building your whole foundation on something.
This idea of engaged acceptance without overvaluing or resisting seems incredibly vital for navigating modern life. What are the benefits of this present moment focus?
Well, fundamentally, you have more energy available for working with reality. You're not wasting it fighting what already is.
Which probably reduces stress.
Hugely. It helps you make better decisions under pressure, and it allows you to find more creative solutions because you're dealing with the actual situation, not the situation you wish you had. You become far more adaptable and...
Okay, so this philosophy of caring less, it's definitely not apathy. It's about caring more deeply about what truly matters.
Exactly.
And that brings us to virtue and perception.
Right. Yes. And philosophical detachment, which is probably the most frequently misunderstood part of Stoicism.
People think it means being cold, uncaring, robotic.
That's the common misconception, but it's really about maintaining emotional equilibrium while remaining fully engaged with our responsibilities and relationship. It's sophisticated engagement, not withdrawal.
So, as emperor, Marcus Aurelius cared deeply about acting virtuously, but had to care less about the specific outcomes. How did that balance work for her?
He focused his emotional energy on making thoughtful, ethical decisions. That was his job. But he practiced releasing attachment to specific outcomes.
Why was that important?
Because it allowed him to remain effective despite countless setbacks.
Yeah.
He could learn from failures without being crushed by them. He controlled his effort, his intentions, his integrity, but not the political wins or the results of a battle.
And this extends to relationships too, I imagine. We can't control how others feel or respond.
Precise. The Stoic approach here is something like unconditional positive regard. Offer your best self, kindness, support, honesty without demanding specific returns or reactions.
Marcus Aurelius must have faced tons of criticism and opposition.
Oh, constant. Criticism, opposition, and ingratitude, source note, despite his efforts to govern justly. But maintaining his integrity and purpose meant he wasn't constantly seeking external validation. That freed him up to act from principle.
For someone navigating modern relationships, that sounds like it could offer profound relief from many common sources of relationship stress, not needing constant approval.
It absolutely can. Finding satisfaction in your own choices to love and contribute without being emotionally dependent on the reaction. And the same logic applies to material, social.
Right, Marcus had immense wealth and power, but saw them as
temporary loans from fortune, not permanent possessions, not core to his identity. He taught very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking.
So your real worth comes from your character, your commitment to virtue, not your job title or bank.
That's the Stoic idea. Even contemplating mortality, which many find depressing, actually increased his appreciation for life and his motivation to use his time wisely. It wasn't fatalistic, it was motivating.
Okay, so Stoicism is about redirecting care, not eliminating it.
Yeah.
And we redirect it towards virtue.
Yes, virtue is the corner. The four cardinal virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are seen as the only true good because they are entirely within our control regardless of what's happening externally.
Let's quickly touch on those. Wisdom.
Not just book smarts, but practical intelligence and philosophical understanding. Self-awareness, accepting reality like mortality, change.
Courage.
Physical bravery, yes, but more importantly, moral fortitude. Doing what's right even when it's hard or unpopular or costly. Treating others fairly, contributing to the common good, recognizing our fundamental interconnectedness. We're all part of the same whole.
and temperance.
Moderation in desires, emotional regulation, avoiding excess so you're not enslaved by pleasures or overwhelmed by difficult self-control.
And Marcus Aurelius didn't see these as just abstract ideals.
Not at all. He saw virtue as a daily practice, a skill set to be developed constantly. His writings are full of personal reminders how to be more just in this situation, more courageous here, more temperate there. Every day offered opportunity.
So for us today, focusing on virtue offers
both practical benefits and profound satisfaction. It provides a reliable foundation for purpose and significance, especially when traditional sources of meaning might feel weaker. It's a source of inner worth that external events can't really touch. That's truly liberating.
Which brings us to one of his most powerful tools, the discipline of perception, seeing things clearly without distortion.
Yes, this is huge. The fundamental insight is that events themselves are essentially neutral.
Neutral, even getting criticized, losing a job.
The event itself is just an event. Our suffering comes not directly from the criticism, but from our interpretation.
Yep.
We have to learn to separate the objective facts from our emotional stories about those facts.
That separation gives us power.
Exactly. It allows us to respond more skillfully and with less personal distress.
How did Marcus practice?
He regularly reminded himself to see situations as they actually are, rather than as his initial emotional reactions suggested they should be viewed. He'd question his assumptions, ask himself, what expectation was violated here? How likely is this anxious scenario, really? It requires constant self-interrogation.
He also emphasized the temporary nature of things.
Yes, seeing the temporary nature of all external circumstances. Everything changes. Empires rise and fall. Fortunes shift. Relationships evolve. Understanding this reduces our desperate attachment to good times and our excessive distress about bad.
He also noted how much trouble we avoid by focusing on ourselves.
Right. How much trouble he avoids, who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself. Think how much energy we waste monitoring others, comparing, judging, instead of focusing on our own path, our own virtue.
So for us today, constantly bombarded with information and interaction, recognizing the stories we tell ourselves about events is key.
Absolutely key. Distinguishing facts from interpretation. Losing a job is a fact. The story, I am a failure, is an interpretation, a potentially harmful one.
And we have a choice about it.
We have considerable choice. And those choices have profound implications for your well-being and effectiveness. This practice involves questioning our bias, considering other perspectives, intellectual humility, and pausing when strong emotions hit.
Pausing to ask, am I seeing this clearly? Is fear clouding my judgment? Is desire distorting things?
Exactly. You become the conscious editor of your own internal narrative rather than just passively accepting the first draft your emotions write.
It's truly incredible how relevant these ancient insights are today. It feels like the modern world is almost designed to make us care about absolutely everything, uncontrollably.
It really does feel that way sometimes. But think about applying this. Managing information and media consumption. Marcus would advise focusing on what you can actually influence, limiting exposure to anxiety-inducing distant crises you can't affect.
Or navigating financial planning and career development.
Build adaptable skills. Manage finances responsibly, things you control. Don't just obsessively worry about market crashes or layoffs you can't predict.
Dealing with difficult people.
Understand their behavior likely reflects their own issues, their own character, not necessarily a personal attack on you. See it objectively.
It applies to so much. Consumer culture and social media comparisons.
His detachment from possessions and focus on inner character is the perfect.
Or facing big life challenge, health challenge, family difficulties, career setback.
Practice that engage, adapt your goals instead of just fruitlessly resisting reality. Work with the situation.
Even in tricky, morally complex situations.
Using those four virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, temperance as your compass can bring real clarity to decisions.
And his practice of mortality, thinking about life being finite.
It sounds morbid, but it helps prioritize. In our busy world, remembering time is limited pushes us to focus on what truly matters, to live.
Marcus Aurelius' own life really backs this up, doesn't it? Despite immense pressures, war, politics, illness, family tragedies.
He maintained his commitment to virtue and his philosophical equanimity. It wasn't about avoiding challenges. It was about engaging fully while keeping that crucial perspective.
And it's important to remember this isn't about achieving perfect peace overnight.
Not at all. It's a gradual process, an ongoing effort. His own honesty in the meditations about his struggles, his own imperfections, actually makes his insights more accessible and encouraged. He was human, grappling with this stuff, just like.
So we've reached the end of our deep dive into Marcus Aurelius, and we're left with this powerful paradox.
That, by caring less about external circumstance,
we often discover our capacity to care more deeply about what truly matters.
Exactly. Remember, this whole philosophy is about redirecting your care, finding genuine agency where your precious emotional energy can actually yield meaningful returns.
It's about recognizing that so much of our suffering comes from fighting the uncontrollable, from attaching ourselves to outcomes that are ultimately beyond our grasp.
Understanding those limits of control, freeing yourself from the chains of past regret or anxiety, embracing the present with engagement.
Developing that true philosophical detachment, cultivating virtue as your guiding star, and practicing clear perception. These are the pillars.
They really are the pillars of a more peaceful and purposeful life.
And the timeless relevance of this ancient wisdom can genuinely help manage modern stresses, workplace stuff, relationship challenges, money worries, even global uncertainty.
The core message holds: focus on what you can, accept what you cannot change, find meaning in cultivating your character.
So here's a final thought for you to take away. In our world, where we're constantly encouraged, even pressured, to care about everything from global politics to celebrity scandals, what one area of the uncontrollable could you choose to consciously care less about starting today?
Just one area to free up that energy.
To free up energy for what's truly within your grasp. We really hope this deep dive has given you some powerful tools, some food for thought to maybe start that journey.